So the price of the Oura Ring 4 is $349 to $499 depending on which color and finish you get. In addition to that, there also is a $5.99 charge every month as a subscription in order to get access to all of your data. I got the gold ring because I'm bougie like that. So yeah, it was $499, making it the most expensive smart ring on the market. Let's start with the physical stuff. So when it comes to sizing, Oura sends a free sizing kit when you order so you can get the perfect fit. Or you can just go to Best Buy and try on the ring size that you want and just get it right there. The new one that I got fits way better than previous generations. As far as the colors go, there is silver, black, brushed silver, stealth, gold, and rose gold. Some design details that are updated from previous generations are that there is a subtle pill-shaped icon that tells you where to align the sensors, and that little icon should be at the bottom of your finger. There's also no raised sensors or awkward design bumps on the inside of the ring anymore. They've completely gotten rid of that. Next is going to be the charger, and the new charger is made from aluminum and feels more premium. It has a small light indicator, and to get a full charge takes about 80 minutes. Next, let's talk about the battery. Oura claims that the ring can last up to 8 days, but more realistically, I get about 5 to 6 days of battery life, which is still an upgrade from the previous generation. It's just not always as good as what they say. However, something to be mindful of is the battery will die over time. My Gen 2 died after 2 years. Just be warned that depending on how you use this thing, it could erode the battery pretty quickly. Then with the LEDs and the sensors, there are red LEDs, green LEDs, and a skin temperature sensor that are all built in and used for smart sensing. Okay, let's pull up the app and take a look at the dashboard and the interface. And it's been a few years since I've had an Oura Ring because my last one died. So I'm seeing all of this for the first time. And while the software updates apply to all other Oura Rings as well, I'm going to basically walk you through what this experience would be like as a new user, because in some regards I kind of am, because it's been a long time. The new dashboard is a big upgrade from previous generations of the software. What I love about this is at the very top, you're going to see all these dials that are going to show your health vitals, your readiness score, your sleep score, your activity, your heart rate, your stress, and then you can put in a customized dial as well. And then the customized dial actually allows you to prioritize which ones you want to see first. As you can see on my app, workouts and movement can be detected automatically. So I went for a walk this morning. I'll just confirm that yes, I went for a walk. And now that movement has been added to my activities. So by clicking on each dial, it's going to pull open that specific tab. So you, for example, can open your readiness tab, and then you can get way more in-depth data about this specific category that they're tracking. And you could do the same thing for sleep. Yesterday I got some really good sleep, apparently. And you could do the same thing for activity. And there's so much. We're going to go into all of this in just a little bit here. And then this is the real-time heart rate and stress monitor, which is awesome. So as you scroll down the page on today, it's going to give you a couple things. Number one, your activity goal for the day. Number two, your current and daytime stress. Number three is going to be your current heart rate. Number four is there's a little tab right here, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is your circles, which is how you can track with your friends. And there's your readiness score, and you can click on that tab. That's also another way to access that category. And you can do the same thing with sleep. It tells you last night's bedtime. And then this is a new feature we'll talk about shortly, which is also your timeline. It's just like what activities happen throughout the day. There is a symptom tracker if you're getting sick, which is really interesting. And then they have guided breathworks and meditations. Then they have some like education down here at the bottom. So if you click on vitals, it's going to open up a page that's directly correlated with all of these categories that we were talking about earlier. And so I could click on readiness, and then I get this in-depth snapshot. And I can also use this little toggle button just down here at the bottom. That's also going to allow me to just switch between these really quickly, which is a nice feature. One of the big things that I'm noticing that they've done is that they have made it really easy to access your data from multiple places inside of the app. And it's like different ways of displaying the same data. Then if you click on the My Health tab, what you're going to see is there's a resilience tracker, which is going to calibrate how much physiological stress you can recover from. Right now, my resilience tracker is calibrating because it's a newer device. So in the next 2 weeks, I'll have more data on how to use that. The cardiovascular age is really interesting. I think they're trying to lean into this whole longevity thing. So trying to test your VO2 max, and you can take a walking test. This is going to help give you an idea of how healthy your heart is, which I think is really cool. Then the next thing they have is this sleep health section, where they're also calibrating what your chronotype is. So depending on what time you go to bed and what time you wake up is going to help you figure out when is the optimal time for you to go to sleep and for you to wake up. And I imagine they have some type of algorithm that helps you calculate that. So let's take a deeper look into readiness. And what you're going to see is your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, your body temperature, your respiratory rate, and your readiness score. So there's all these different factors that are contributing to your overall readiness score. And so this is a really good indication of how well recovered you are and how prepared you are to take on the day. So if you scroll down a little bit more, what you're going to see is a suggestion in terms of what they think you're going to be capable of doing today based on your readiness score. And below that, you can see how your evening heart rate and your HRV was trending throughout the night. I find that while this data is extremely helpful and also keeps me accountable to not overtraining or pushing it too hard, it's also checking in with my body at the same time, saying, hey, how do I actually feel? And measuring that against this data. And that helps to inform me in a much more sophisticated way versus just going off intuitively, okay, how am I feeling? Or just going off exactly what the data says. I think marrying the two is the way to get the best results. If we take a look at the sleep tab, we'll see the total sleep time, time in bed, sleep efficiency, and the resting heart rate for that evening. Then we get our overall sleep score. And then underneath that, we'll have total sleep, efficiency, restfulness, REM sleep, deep sleep, latency, and timing. And all of this is going to give you a lot of information into the quality of your sleep. And one of the best ways to improve the quality of your sleep is by taking the right type of magnesium. So I've helped thousands of people improve their sleep through my content and my course, The Sleep Advantage. And for the last 6 years, after helping so many people, something that I consistently see is that people need more magnesium. And oftentimes people would come to me and say, Kyle, I'm taking magnesium, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Almost always I would ask them what type of magnesium are they taking, and usually it would be magnesium oxide or magnesium citrate or a blend of like 100 different magnesiums. And I'm like, you need the right type. And the one brand that I always recommend that people use in order to improve their sleep is 𝐷𝐷 from Natural Stacks. They happen to be the sponsor of this video. And the reason why I recommend that specific brand, and I have been for years, is because I watch it improve their REM scores using the Oura Ring. I watch it improve their sleep latency using the Oura Ring, and I watched it improve their sleep quality overall. They're getting better sleep scores, they're sleeping for longer, it's taking them less time to fall asleep, and it's improving all the scores on their trackers. So I've helped enough people to see that this supplement really, really works. And the thing that I love about Natural Stacks is that they third-party test every single batch of their supplements, and they open source where they're getting their ingredients from, which is completely unheard of in the supplement space. And the reason why I started taking Natural Stacks in the first place and how I found them is because I used to take another magnesium glycinate, which is one of the best forms of magnesium for sleep. I later found out that that specific brand had high levels of arsenic in it. I'm like, I don't want that going into my body almost every single day. And this specific supplement, 𝐷𝐷, has magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, and magnesium taurate. But it's clean. Magnesium glycinate is bound to the amino acid glycine that's going to help you downshift, get you ready to fall asleep. Magnesium threonate effectively crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's going to help increase those REM scores, give you crazy dreams, and help keep you asleep throughout the night. And magnesium taurate relaxes the nervous system and helps you unwind from a stressful day and keep you calm throughout the night. So I imagine if you're interested in getting an Oura Ring, you're probably interested in improving your sleep. And 𝐷𝐷 is literally the only supplement that I take for sleep. That's all you need. So highly recommend you go get yourself a bottle. I'll put a link down below in the description with a discount code. Something also worth mentioning when it comes to 𝐷𝐷 is you can just see the results, like 95 sleep score last night, 90 sleep score last night, 91 sleep score the night before, 93, 90, 95, 92. Like, I know how to get good sleep, and this is the only supplement that I use and I consistently continue to use over and over and over again and recommend to all my friends and family. Go get yourself a bottle. It freaking works. Okay, next is activity, and you're going to see a goal for the day in terms of calorie burned. Then you're going to see your total burn, your walking equivalency, how many steps you've taken. And then you get the overall activity score. Then all these other contributing factors like training frequency, training volume, training time, meeting your daily goals. I actually take my ring off when I train. So the fact that I'm still getting these highest scores is pretty good, I think. And then if we go over to the heart rate and the stress, you're going to see your sleeping heart rate and then your daytime heart rate. And then as you move and do things throughout the day, whether you're taking a nap or whether you're going for a walk or whether you're in a meeting, it's going to start to pick up this stuff and give you more data. And then the last tab is this daytime stress, where you can literally see in real time how your stress levels are changing throughout the day. And if your stress goes too high, it's going to prompt you and let you know like, hey, maybe you should take a couple deep breaths, or you should just be aware that you might be getting worked up right now. So if you go back to the main page, there's this little plus button in the bottom right-hand corner. If you click that, you have the AI advisor, which can help give you advice based on the data and what questions you ask it. So if we go in there, we say, hey, I want to increase my total sleep time. What do you recommend? Because I'm waking up earlier than I'd like. Waking up earlier than preferred suggests your body might be ready to wake, or your routine is influencing your timing. Try adjusting your bedtime earlier, eliminating bright light and screens before bed, and winding down gradually. How consistent is your evening routine? I'm very consistent with my evening routine. So you can go back and forth with this advisor, and based on the prompts that you give it and the questions that you ask it and the data that you're getting from your Oura Ring, it's going to give you different types of feedback. So in that same little section, you can also record a meditation. You can do an unguided right there, which is, you can add a soundscape if you want. You can log a meal. This is another really cool feature that we're going to talk about later. This ties into tracking blood sugar or calories. You can integrate chronometer. You can tag an activity, right? So you could just say, oh, okay, there's like bad air quality. So you could do that. Or I'm feeling anxious right now. Then the algorithm can continue to aggregate all that data to build a more comprehensive profile for you and get more and more accurate over time. And then you can log an activity for, what the activity was and the duration of that activity. And then you can record real-time heart rate. So whether you want to do something high intensity or something zone 2, you can record it right there. So I want to talk about one of the most significant features that Oura Ring has that I think no one else is talking about and really gets to basically get some light. So I have this program that I'm building called Shift, which helps you shift your identity into the new version of yourself that has any health outcome that you want. And there's some accountability, and it's a group thing. And so for the people who are in the group that have an Oura Ring as well, they can join my circle, which means I can see their data. And so for anyone who is coaching or it wants some type of accountability, whether you're in some type of program or you want to compete with your wife or spouse, or whether you want to compete with your family, this is, I think, one of the most underrated tools for behavior change. So what you'll see is we've had a couple people join, right? We have John, who obviously is struggling a bit with his sleep. We have Marina, who's doing okay. Good readiness, good activity. Then we have UJ, good sleep. And then we have me, of course, crushing everyone. So this adds a little bit of playful competition, but then also there's no hiding from the data. Like I could clearly call out John and be like, John, why did you get a 51 sleep score last night? Like what is contributing to that type of behavior? And then he can be held accountable, have the light shine on him. And that is such a unique mechanism for creating real long-term change. And you have the added social pressure and shame of, everyone else is performing at a high level and you're dropping the ball. Another really cool feature that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is the integrations that you get with Oura Ring. So specifically for women, there is a company called Natural Cycles that has an app that is a period tracker. And with the technology inside of Oura Ring, you can sync your period tracking with Natural Cycles, and then you can share that data with your partner. So obviously, if you want to be having safe sex and making sure that you're not getting pregnant, this is a big deal. The other reason why this is a big deal is because if you want to just be mindful of your partner as a guy, you can know where she's at in her cycle. So if she's on her period, you could send her some flowers, and you could be thinking in advance, like, okay, like maybe she needs some chocolate right now. And so you could really support the relationship by having access to this data. And then from the female perspective, you can really know when you need to take it easy, when you need to let off the gas, maybe not push it so hard in the gym, maybe go for a gentle walk or go do some restorative yoga instead of slamming a HIIT workout. And so just having that awareness of like, I can have a little bit of different expectations on myself and my partner for me because I know what's happening in real time. And as a woman, you're always really in tune with your body of like when you're going to be approaching your cycle. But I think being able to share that data with your partner is just invaluable. Next cool integration that I also don't see anyone talking about is the fact that you can connect Chronometer. Chronometer is kind of like MyFitnessPal, except it's way more in depth and it's kind of like a better version where you can see micronutrients as well. So if you want to track your food, which I'm currently about to start, then I can connect it with my Oura Ring and connect it with the activity, and I can be even more precise with my data, which is awesome. So if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain muscle, you can be very scientific. And if you're working with a coach who's helping you on that journey, then you can just share this data with them really, really simply. The other integration that I think is worth talking about is the Dexcom one. So they have found a way to integrate a CGM, continuous glucose monitor, into the Oura Ring app. So basically, if you want to track your blood sugar, whether you're diabetic or reactive hypoglycemia, or you just want to be more conscious about your metabolic health or how your nutrition is affecting you, then this is an amazing upgrade because now instead of having to have a totally separate app like Levels or NutriSense, you can do this all inside of the Oura Ring app. And then if you connect Chronometer, then you can have your calorie tracker, your glucose, your sleep, your stress, your readiness, all this stuff in one singular app. I think this is the future of health. Like right here, what we're talking about, I know that this is the direction that the world is going, and I'm super happy about it because even if it's not perfect, they can continue to make updates to the software, and all you have to do is just update the app. You don't have to get a new ring. Also, their continuous glucose monitor, I believe, is $99 a month, which is way cheaper than Levels or NutriSense. I've been wearing some type of sleep tracker for the last 6 to 7 years. At first, it was the original Oura Ring, then it was the Oura Ring 2, then it was the Whoop, then it was the Oura Ring 3, then it was the Ultrahuman Air, then it was the Ringcon, and now I have the Oura Ring 4. I've also helped thousands of people improve their sleep, like I mentioned before, and I coached entrepreneurs one-on-one for quite a while, helping them improve this area of their life. So I am as steeped as you can be in this topic, specifically around sleep trackers, activity trackers, and how they can impact your life. And I decided to buy the Oura Ring 4 with my own money, even though I get sent products like this all the time. And I want to tell you about why. For the last 6 months, I completely let go of tracking, and it was so liberating. I was so tired of tracking everything in my life. I just needed a break. I just wanted to live and forget about what the numbers said. It was really needed. But when I got back from this long trip from Colombia, I was feeling pretty worn down. I was exhausted. I was not sleeping well. I was just kind of overtraining, like all this stuff, and I wasn't being super disciplined. I was having a lot of fun. I just wasn't feeling the best. If I look at myself in other videos, I'm like, yeah, you look pretty tired. Yeah, not only did I look tired, I was definitely under recovering from my workouts, and I was just feeling worn down. One of the reasons why I think the Oura Ring is so powerful is because it helps me keep myself accountable. I am accountable to me and my data. And so it kind of acts as like a forcing function for me to do the right behaviors in order to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. You know, going to bed at the right time, getting good sleep, recovering well, prioritizing rest, and doing the things that I know make me feel the best. When I get those good sleep scores, I just want them to keep going. It's that nice little dopamine hit and gamification that creates a reward in order for me to really stay motivated. That works for me. It's very helpful for me. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go out and have a good time. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to live my life. It's just I'm going to prioritize taking care of myself because this is a long game, I'm hoping. And so I just want to make sure that I feel as good as I can while I do this thing called life. And when I do have a rough night, I get back on the horse a lot faster. And I just want to get that score up. So it's a great support mechanism for me to ensure that I just do the things that I know work. And with this new identity shifting program, I have all these alpha testers going through it and putting them all in the circle. I'm noticing how powerful of a tool that is for them as well. It just adds this additional layer of accountability, which I think we all need. Like even myself, someone who's been doing this for a long time and is really good at getting good sleep and taking care of myself, I still need to be held accountable. That's just like human nature, I think. I love the way that the Oura Ring displays the data. I think it's probably the most beautiful and most user-friendly interface out of any app that's out there. And with some of these integrations with the CGM and Chronometer and natural cycles. I think it's going to become even more useful to me than it was in previous generations. I also really like some of these new features like the resilience monitor and the symptom radar. The fact that it could catch these things or pick up on these things before they happen so that I don't overdo it, I think is awesome. I really need that because I tend to overdo things. So that's really, really helpful for me. By the way, Oura hasn't paid me to make this video. I'm not even an affiliate for them anymore, and I have no financial ties to them whatsoever. And I bought the product with my own money, just reiterating that. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons though, and hopefully this can help you make the decision that's right for you. One of the first pros that sticks out to me comparing this to the Generation 3 is the fact that it is so much more comfortable. It fits my finger a lot better because it doesn't have the bumps and the sensors that stick out on the inside. It's a much more comfortable ring in my opinion. As I've talked about a lot already, I love the app experience. I think all the upgrades that they've made make it a really, really great user experience, and it'll be easy for you to navigate even if you're not super techie. Circle feature is a great way to gamify the process and compete with your friends or your family. It's also kind of like cheat codes, especially if you're in a relationship and you know your partner is underslept, and then you can kind of just maybe give them some space that day, you know, and then avoid maybe some conflict or a misunderstanding because they're just in a bad mood. One of the other big pros is that the battery life has gotten, I think, significantly better. You know, another 2 days of charge or whatever, it goes a long way. So big thumbs up for that as well. And then of course, all the integrations, having all this stuff being able to put in one app, that's a big deal. If you're someone who is on a health journey or you're trying to optimize some of these things and get some of these questions answered, whether it's, you know, how this food is affecting your sleep or your blood sugar and how all that ties together. Like I see a future where this could be a one-stop shop for all things like metabolic health. All right, let's talk about some of the cons. So it still has that $5.99 subscription fee every single month, which is annoying. I know none of us want more subscriptions, and you already pay, you know, $300-400 for a freaking ring, you know, whereas some of the other competitors like Ringcon and Ultrahuman, they have no subscription. They're both good products. I made another video where I reviewed all of them against each other, which you can go check out afterwards. But if you don't want another subscription, this probably isn't the ring for you. You also still have to take the ring off. It's no different than any other ring when you work out, or at least I do. I can't grip things very well when I'm wearing the ring, so I just take it off. Kind of a bummer because it kind of defeats the purpose of the activity tracking. Anything in respect to lifting, you can just like omit from your activity unless you want to log it after the fact, but who wants to do that? So not really so great from an activity tracking perspective. It's more recovery and sleep focus. So if you want something that's going to do activity, this is not the product for you, in my opinion. The charger, while they upgraded it and made it nicer, I think they really missed the mark because the Ringcon has this little case that you can close that you can charge separately and you can just bring with you. And I think that is a much better alternative than what Oura Ring has, because if you put it on the stand and you're traveling with it or whatever, it could easily fall off and you could lose the ring. I think going forward, what I would have loved to see is a case that you can put the ring in, that closes, that keeps it safe, that you can charge separately. That was a big miss for Oura Ring, okay? The other con is that the battery does degrade over time, and in my experience, I don't know what it's like with the Gen 4, but with the previous models, it degraded quickly. So this purchase might only last you 2 years depending on how you use it. That was my experience with the Gen 3. So that's also something to just be aware of. And the last con that I'll say is my experience of their customer support in the past has not been great. So if something breaks or goes wrong or you have an issue, just know that that part of their business could be a lot better. Who is this for, and is it actually worth it? If you have the Gen 3 and you're considering upgrading and you're really frustrated with the battery life and the form factor, then it might be worth the upgrade. Everything inside of the software and the app is the same. Really what you're paying for are those two things. But if you don't have a health tracker or a sleep tracker and you're in the market for one and you're considering all the different options, I think the Oura Ring 4 is a really, really good option and you'll be super happy with your purchase. I think the thing to really consider when making a purchase like this is just like, why am I buying this? And for me, it's like, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be as healthy as I can be. And in order to do that, I need support. I need accountability. And I need to actually know what's happening inside of my body as far as my vitals go. So I need a tool in order to kind of get a sense of that, because me just doing it on my own doesn't seem like it works the best. So if you like this video and you're still not sure about which tracker you should get, then check out this video right here where I review all the best smart rings, and hopefully you can find the one that's right for you. Take care and be well.